Hello everyone, and welcome back to movie reviews on my channel. Sorry it's been so long since my last movie review. Was like a year ago, maybe a year and a half ago at this point. I stopped doing them for a while because I didn't like those reviews, and I also didn't like the way I critiqued movies. So hopefully I can do better now. Here we are, Escape from Tomorrow. Escape from Tomorrow was weird. That's really the best way I can describe it. I think I hated it. I think I liked it. These are both true statements. For those that don't know this movie, I mean, you could easily just look up the Wikipedia page, but for those that don't know, it was a movie that was filmed covertly in Disney World. It got a lot of press in 2013. I didn't hear about it until... It got a lot of press when it released in 2013, but I didn't hear about it until like 2016. And I bought the Blu-ray having not seen the movie, which I don't do anymore because this and Spotlight have both turned me off of doing that. There are some good things about this movie that I have written down. This is the kind of movie where I look at it and I watch it and I go, that was good, but I have a lot of things to say about it that are negative. I'm conflicted about this movie. I don't know whether to take an actual hardline stance and say it sucks, but I definitely didn't like it. I think. The most exceptional point about this movie is that it exists at all. I did enjoy the score. It was very old Hollywood, and I think a lot of this movie is trying to kind of pay homage to old Hollywood and this kind of classic feel. Being at Disney World, of course, there are lots of references and homages to that old Hollywood aesthetic, we'll say. And I think for the most part, when they try and do that, they succeed. They do successfully capture the spirit of old Hollywood. But what is the movie actually about? Sure, you can sell your movie based on how it was filmed, but at the end of the day, what is the movie about? And the answer is there really isn't a story, or at least it's not very important. It's definitely an art house movie, very much inspired by David Lynch. The whole time I was just like, wow, this guy has seen Eraserhead. It's a very simple story. You have a family of four. Dad gets fired. Dad creeps on two teenage girls, which we'll get to that. And then the dad starts losing his fucking mind. Like with any art house movie, it's unclear if these things are just him going crazy or actual things happening that represent what's going on in his mind. But I could probably say it's the first because that's more of the art house way. A lot of this film just really came off as film school, which is saying something considering I'm literally in film school right now. But yeah, this reminds me kind of my films, really. Maybe that's why I hate it. So the plot's thin, we know that, but that is not a bad thing in and of itself if you have something else to make it worth watching. And it doesn't even have to be something that is aesthetically pleasing. Like, it could be how abrasive the movie is, and that is the thing that props up the movie and gives you a reason to watch it. So if the plot isn't the point, what is? I don't know. There are clearly points that this movie is trying to make, but I don't know what the main point is. You have a lot to say, but what is the one thing you are trying to say above all else? The point that the movie gets its name from, Escape from Tomorrow. It's constantly brought up, mainly by the sexy mom character, which we'll get to.
People just come here because they want to feel safe. They're afraid. But you can't escape it, you know. Bad things happen everywhere.
That you can't be happy forever. You can't run away and distract yourself forever. You cannot escape tomorrow. That's the title of the movie. dude. And I really enjoy that topic. I love how it was explored, and I think Disneyland is a great place to explore that, especially because it's called Tomorrowland. But I don't really think that's the main point they're trying to get across. You would think it would be, because it is the name of the movie. But that's not what the movie really focuses on. That's kind of a side thing. The thing that takes up most of the movie's runtime is this weird sex angle.
Jim, where are you, Jim? I've been waiting for you. I have something to tell you, Jim. Soon, Jim, you'll be mine. You'll be all mine.
This part I will openly admit I did not get. This seems to be the main theme of the movie, this weird sexual aspect. It is most of what the movie is. The dad character, Jim, he lusts after women the entire movie to the point where he's a creep.
Dad?
Yeah?
Why are we following those girls?
Girls? What girls?
Those girls.
Oh, well,
For these two foreign women, this sexy mom character. But what are you trying to say with that? They're clearly trying to juxtapose innocent Disney park for children with sex. But to what end? What do you gain? What point are you making by juxtaposing these two things? That Disney parks don't like sex? Most of this movie just felt uncomfortable to watch. You could take the charitable explanation that's similar to the whole escape from tomorrow thing. Instead of trying to escape unhappiness, trying to escape sex. So maybe it does tie in. But I really feel like that was not the intention. It feels like an excuse to show titty. So much of this movie just feels like it is kind of shady. They're clearly trying to make a comment on consumerism. You have the fat wheelchair character, you have the entire sequence at the end where you have everyone funneling into the park, clearly shot like a zombie film. Do you get it? Do you get it? Why don't you get it? You just don't understand this movie. It's too subtle. But it's like, these are just people. Because keep in mind, these aren't actors. These are actual people who were filmed in secret at Disney World. This point was brought up by Jenny Nicholson, but could you imagine saving up money so your kids could finally go to Disney World and then ending up in a movie that is making fun of you for even wanting to go to Disney World? And filming covertly, while cool, a neat idea and admirable that it did work out, it's gonna turn out bad sometimes. Let me preface this by saying, yes, I realize this is not the ideal conditions which you would want to film a movie in. There are shots that take place in both Disney World and Disneyland, so having to fly actors out means you can't really shoot for that long. And also shooting in Disney World means most of the price is gonna go to tickets and admission to the rides and getting in. And that's all money taken away from the actual budget to making the movie. But that does not change the fact that this green screen is atrocious.
Oh, thank you.
Oh, goodness.
Rich Asian businessmen, they'll pay thousands.
Jim, come on, Jim. It's time to go.
What?
Look, I know why this is in the movie, and I realize that the people who made the movie probably realize that this is a flaw as well. But that does not change the fact that when I was first watching this movie, devoid of context, I laughed out loud when I saw that green screen. At the end of the day, the movie is the movie. It doesn't matter what happened backstage. Plenty of movies that went through production hell turned out crap. And you don't give those movies a pass just because the production was troubled. And I don't want to give this movie a pass just because the production was harder than, say, making a regular movie. The acting is completely dog shit. Again, you don't get as many takes. You can't get the actors to say the lines exactly the right way that you want them. So I understand maybe having a little dodgy acting, but god damn, that's terrible. Especially the dad character. Oh my god, I don't know what he was going for, but it's awful. And he's the main character, so you don't expect this to stop. But one thing you cannot give an explanation for. One thing, you can't say, oh, well, you know, they couldn't have gotten as many shots, or they couldn't have done this because they filmed in Disney World covertly. You cannot excuse this for that, from that. Fuck the editing. Now you may be a little confused because I praised the editing earlier, I think. I don't know what takes made the cut, so maybe I did, maybe I did. When I said the editing is good, I meant mostly the overall editing, the bigger picture, the holistic editing. Things like making the movie in black and white. You can't control the lighting, but because it's in black and white, they all look coherent and, you know, match continuity between the scenes as far as the lighting goes. The overall pacing and structure of the movie, because most of this movie really could have been in any order. It didn't feel like there was any real progression apart from a couple scenes. So it was put in a good order. That's some good editing. No, when I say the editing is shit, I mean momentary editing from shot to shot. It is really abrupt and it's almost always jarring. And in some movies, I could make the argument that it is a stylistic choice to do that, to make you uncomfortable and to make you on edge, or just to feel that things are a little off kilter. But again, doesn't seem like that. It just seems like the editor is trying to save the movie in the editing room. And it just kind of works out that the movie's horror, and you could kind of maybe pass it off as an artistic choice. There's just random slow motion.
For what?
The fucking worst. I mentioned already that when I saw the green screen, I laughed out loud. Another one was this, because I didn't laugh the first time I saw it. I didn't laugh the second time I saw it. But I realized, and I caught on to this pattern, that every time this movie reincorporates something it has established previously, it will just literally cut to the moment where they established it. And again, it was fucking hilarious, because when I heard a character say a line and it was familiar and I recognized it from earlier in the movie, something in my brain just went, oh, they're gonna play a clip of this. And they played the exact clip I was imagining that they would play. And it was fucking hilarious.
Everyone's so worried about cat flu now. Children are most at risk, so we have to be extra careful. Mommies and daddies, too. You could be a host and not even know it. Everyone's so worried about cat flu now. You could be a host and not even know it.
Cat flu.
It's too subtle for your small brain. And again, like I said with the editing, you could maybe forgive it because it's trying to be tense. It's trying to create tension and make you feel uneasy. So by having jarring editing, that could be doing it. A lot of this movie feels like it's accidentally good than actually good. For example, the acting. I already talked about how it's bad, but again, you could make a case for it. The movie is very clearly trying to pay homage to old Hollywood. I mentioned this earlier. Why don't we show a clip of it because you're too fucking stupid to remember it happened. The cheesy acting may be part of the homage to old Hollywood, because if you remember in old Hollywood, the actors were mainly from stage plays, so they would kind of have this heightened sense of acting where they would have to project whatever emotion they were trying to convey to the back row. So in the early days of movies, you have this very kind of theatrical, almost like a stage play type of acting. So maybe the cheesy, unnatural acting is an homage to that, but I don't think so, because like I said, the early actors were just bigger. They just took whatever emotion they were trying to convey and amplified it so that if you were in a theater, even people sitting in the back would understand what emotion you're trying to convey. But in this, it's just cheesy.
Is Mommy pretty?
Your mother? Yeah, she's beautiful.
I think so too.
Yeah. I mean, not in a classical sense, but more in a Emily Dickinson kind of bookish, Tina Fey kind of thing. Yeah, but she's beautiful, yeah.
It doesn't feel like they're trying to project their emotions to be huge. It just feels like kind of cheesy. That's really the only way I can describe it. The lines they're given don't help either.
Happy day, all of you. I love you. I am so happy to be here with you, my beautiful princes and princesses.
Even some of the things I like about this movie are things that you can just chalk up to being an homage or being because of the filming circumstances. Even the old Hollywood type homage that I think the movie is trying to go for doesn't really persist through the whole movie. It's mainly one scene and the score. For example, one thing that I know is only circumstantial was it being filmed in black and white. I mentioned earlier, keep saying that, play a clip of it. But the reason I like it is not only because I think that's a clever way to get around not being able to control the lighting, but I also like it because it does make the movie creepier and more tense. I mean, let's be real. If this was filmed in color, there wouldn't be a single smidge of horror or tension anywhere in this movie. Even the scenes I do consider to be tense, if they were filmed in color, they would kind of be laughable, more laughable than the rest of this movie. But it also works thematically because you're literally sucking the happiness out of the happiest place on earth. You're taking all the color and the life away from it. I love that concept. It's why I bought the Blu-ray. I'm a sucker for the trope of an innocent place being made sinister. It's why I love things like Halloween. You take the suburbs and you make it dark and sinister. There's more to that movie, I get it, but I'm saying that's why I'm just using it as an example. Calm down. I didn't like the ending either, because it was basically just masturbating at how abstract you can be, and you don't understand this movie. You just don't get it. Which maybe I don't. Jim dies and is replaced by a clone or something I don't know is trying to be artsy. Don't you give me some fucking film theory bullshit where you tell me that he killed himself at the beginning and this whole movie is just in purgatory, dude. Your small brain can't understand it. But hey, it's just a theory, a film theory. But don't get me wrong, because I say I hate the ending does not mean I hate the death of Jim, because this was my favorite moment in the movie. For real. No exaggeration. So he starts shitting rapidly. The whole scene of him throwing up hairballs and getting more and more sick and shitting rapidly. Just this dread of feeling sick and feeling like you're about to die, which it's kind of awkward that I am reviewing this now. I didn't think of that. Anyway.
Cat flu.
But the part that really threw it over the top was the reveal of his dead body. It was my favorite part of the movie, unironically. It was both parts, it's both parts horrifying and kind of comical, which is perfect. It honestly caught me off guard, and I think that's what it was going for, and I don't feel like it was an accident that I was caught off guard, unlike most of the movie. I may be overselling this moment, but I really enjoyed it. And it is the only part of the movie I can sincerely say that I loved. But, yeah, there were a lot of parts I hated. I criticize it a lot because a lot of the things I do genuinely hate. But I do think this movie has some great ideas and concepts built into it that I really enjoy those concepts and ideas. That was redundant. But this movie just didn't execute them well. I can't really bring myself to hate it because I love movies that deal with this theme. Like I said, taking something innocent and making it sinister. I'm a sucker for that kind of movie. But yeah, this one, it sucked. It sucked. So that was Escape from Tomorrow. It was weird and I think I hated it, but not really. What can you do? Hopefully you enjoyed this video, and hopefully I can get to doing more videos in the future. More movie reviews, more skits are coming. So if you enjoyed this, I guess you could check out my older reviews. Like I said, I don't really like them, but it's kind of the same. It's still me, it's still my opinion. So yeah, thank you all for watching.